So, federal police raiding a politician's offices on behalf of ASIO because there are concerns about communist China seeking to interfere in our political system. This is extraordinary stuff, and we can't say we haven't been warned. This is a globally significant development. In a moment, I'll show you some of the extraordinary things that this New South Wales State Labor MP, Shaoquett Moselmane, has been saying. He's been a frequent visitor to China and a booster for authoritarian regimes. He's already had his ALP membership suspended, but the New South Wales coalition government is now calling on him to resign from Parliament immediately. Now, China's economic and strategic interests and the way they pursue them are a worry for all politicians, companies and public institutions in this country, especially our universities, for instance. And the Liberal Party has had some questions raised, especially over Melbourne MP Gladys Liu's links to Communist Party propaganda organisations, links she said were inadvertent. But there's no doubt this is a much deeper problem for the Australian Labor Party. Remember, just 2 years ago, Senator Sam Dastyaria had to quit Parliament altogether when it was revealed that not only were Chinese communist interests paying some of his personal bills, but he was then publicly spruiking Chinese foreign policy lines. I still reckon Dastyaria got off lightly. He ought to be counting himself very lucky indeed. I mean, think about how he would have fared if he was a Chinese politician and he got caught out in Beijing pushing Australia's interests. When it comes to today's raids, no charges have been laid, no detail about what police and ASIO specifically are expecting to find, and we don't make any allegations of wrongdoing by Moselmane. But we do know he created a stir earlier this year when he praised China for the way it had handled the coronavirus pandemic. That says a lot. But have a look at what he said in 2018 about China and its aspirations.
But China will not be satisfied to operate within an existing world order with rules of the game designed to favour the West. A new world order is what China will in future demand. Historically, China has longed for greatness. The greatness cannot be achieved if the rules of the game continues to favour its opponents. So the rules have to change.
How about that? China wants a bigger role in the world. The West has stacked the cards against it, and we need to change the rules to make life easier for an ambitious and authoritarian communist regime. This is extraordinary. And Moselmane even had some suggestions for how China can achieve its global resurgence.
It's greater control of the global media, which it lacks. Global media and the engine of social media are in the hands of China's opponents. The Arab world has seen the power of Western propaganda satellites in manipulating and misinforming the public, leading the Arab world to chaos, and the result has been death and destruction.
Really? An Australian politician saying China needs to exert more control over global media, presumably including Australian media, and using as part of his argument the claim that it's Western propaganda that's caused chaos in the Arab world. Yeah, sure, I suppose Saddam Hussein, Bashar al-Assad, Muammar Gaddafi, Osama bin Laden and other such figures of hate and oppression have had nothing to do with it. This is deeply concerning, that a person seemingly so out of touch, so antipathetic to our national values, should sit in an Australian parliament arguing for the rise of a communist regime that simply does not share our values of freedom, democracy and respect for human rights. Moselmane's future in politics looks bleak, to say the least. But what about the Labor Party members, factions and politicians who have encouraged and enabled his career so far? When will Labor Party figures make sure they put the Australia back into the ALP?